They say breed the best and hope for the best.
Vacoma broke well on the outside.
But you don't expect to get speed like this.
Inside, Vacoma continues to battle on down the rail. It is Vacoma who's going to win the Met Mile.
Beautiful setting for today's edition of the Daily Racing Form Breeders' Cup Workout Report right here in the paddock at Keeneland. The workout report brought to you, as always, by Spendthrift Farm, the home of 2020 Classic winner Authentic, whose first yearlings will sell in November. Action stepped up again today. I think everybody is here now on the ground. The starting gate, the gate crew were very busy this morning. Ton of horses, Breeders' Cup horses going over to school in the gate today, including the entire Aidan O'Brien team and Cave Rock. I also noticed over there he spent a bit of time there. He's the favorite for the juvenile on Friday. We'll start right at the beginning, and it's usually Flightline, the first major Breeders' Cup horse out there in the morning, and he did his thing again today. Continues to look good coming off of that work over the weekend. Started off a bit slower than usual, but finished up strong as usual today, picking up the pace down the backstretch. Pulled up a little further around the turn this morning. Rich Strike actually got to stretch his legs even more today. He had a rather slowish 5/8 work as his final major work. Today, though, he did 2-minute lick it around there, going about a mile at a 2-minute pace. So a bigger day today for Rich Strike, and he looked good getting around there this morning in the dark. The Doug O'Neill Breeders' Cup contingent continues to have plenty of action here as we get even within a few days of Breeders' Cup weekend. I mentioned yesterday Hot Rod Charlie was really zipping around here yesterday. He did a little less today, but he still blew out, or sort of blew out, about 3/8 and 42 and change from the wire out around the turn before pulling up after his morning activity, which came right after the renovation break. But earlier, several of the O'Neill Breeders' Cup horses were really asked to put in a good morning's work, starting with Vegas Magic and then followed by Always at Midnight and Slow Down Andy, both of whom went miles, and I had on my watch in about 48 and change, really flying through there today in doing their final major work, as I said, for this weekend's activity. I noted earlier the O'Brien contingent always makes a scene out here. They went to the gate today, led by Order of Australia was the one up front leading the group today, and after they finished at the gate, they galloped once around about a mile and a 16th. They had a pretty brisk pace. I also liked another Euro Invader I liked today was Malavath for the mile. Pretty spirited gallop down the lane, had a set of blinkers on. Not quite a blowout, but was going at a pretty good clip this morning. Taiba, I got to see him today. Just a leisurely gallop for him. Kind of relaxed, out for really just a stroll for Taiba. But he had his ears pricked coming by the wire, and he looked plenty happy. And like I said, his stablemate, Cave Rocket, actually went over and schooled at the gate for quite a while. I think I saw them back him in and out several times. And then he turned around and also had an easy gallop. Looked good today. Wonder Wheel, as usual, as we've seen all week long, as we've noted all week long, had a pretty spirited gallop again today. She's doing well, coming off her victory here in the Alcibiades earlier in the meet. Like his father, Aidan O'Brien, Joseph O'Brien had a couple out there. They also went to the gate, but unlike Dad's horses, who had, a pretty spirited gallop, Joseph O'Brien's pair just kind of had an easy canter after leaving the gate. Reckoning Force blew out down the lane today, had a set of blinkers on, and blew out. I'm not quite sure where he started, but he was going in a pretty strong clip through the wire himself. I thought it was another good morning for the entire Chad Brown team, most notably Blazing Sevens and Real Glory, who was looking terrific here, coming off that very strong work with Rogier over the weekend. The one Breeders' Cup official worker of the day, came late in the morning at 9 o'clock. It was the lone Japanese horse entered in this year's Breeders' Cup, Chain of Love. She went 5/8 and a 104 flat, but pretty much walked away from the pole and then was asked to finish up. Came down the lane in 23 and 3, galloped out in another 13 seconds into the turn. The turf was open again, and it was very busy this morning as well. The first two out there, Platinum Queen and Midnight Mile. Pogo was on the left lead, just cantering through. Dramatize had a little blowout also for the juvenile sprint. Switched leads at mid-stretch. A lot of the Euro horses you see on that left lead coming down the lane. Don't make too much about that. But Dramatize did have a set of blinkers on, went a quarter mile in 25 and 2, and his ears were up at the wire too. I like to see that. Looked like he was pretty happy. Also blowing out about an eighth of a mile in hand through the wire and into the turn over the turf was Lady Hollywood. And Speedboat Beach was actually out there for trainer Bob Baffert today, coming off some fast dirt works back home at Santa Anita. He's not run on the turf, and he was kind of testing the course today, which I might add was pretty boggy today. Now, we had all that rain earlier in the week, and the course, at least on the outside fence where these horses are training in the morning, they were still kicking up quite a lot of kickback today. The Charles Appleby bunch, all 7 of them galloped around there today at a fairly good clip as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe blow out a quarter or 3/8 of a mile tomorrow. So now we're only a couple of days away, so most of the major work is done, as we've said, but there's still a lot of activity coming up tomorrow, and even for the Saturday Breeders' Cup horses, probably on Friday morning. And we'll be here keeping an eye on everything, and you keep it right here for the best Breeders' Cup coverage 2022 at DRF.com.